Hey class, so today we are finding the equation of a line. So first definition, slope y-intercept form. So that is y equals mx plus b, okay? And m is your slope, okay? So there's your slope. And then your b is your y-intercept. Okay, x is always 0 and y is your letter. Okay, standard form is your x term is first, then your y term, then your constant, and you set it equal to 0. Okay, so just a reminder, A, B, and C are all numbers. And then we have the slope formula. So slope is represented by m, and it's your rise divided by run. So remember, rise is up and down, and run is side to side. Up is positive, down is negative. To the right is positive, the left is negative. Okay, and it can also be written, rise, when you have the 2 points, it's y1 minus y2 divided by x2 minus x1, okay? And remember, you have 1 point, so x1, y1, and then you have an x2, y2. Okay, so they're just your points. Finding the equation of a line given its slope and 1 point on the line. So determine what formula the question provides. Next step is substitute the slope and the point into y equals mx plus b to find the y-intercept. And then part 3 is write the equation of a line in its proper form. So let's do our first example and just remember this. Okay, so y equals mx plus b. So the first one, it says find the equation of a line with the slope of positive 1/2. Okay, so we know that's our m. And then we have our point. So slope equals positive 1/2. And then we have an xy coordinate of, right here, 1 and 5. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite our formula, y equals mx plus b. And now we're going to sub everything in. So when we look at our point here, x comes first, and then y. So y, I'm going to substitute a 5. My slope is 1/2. My x is 1, so times it by 1. And now we are doing this to solve for our y-intercept. Okay, so now we're going to multiply. So 5 equals, well, 1/2 times 1 is still 1/2. And then you have your plus b. Now what we need to do is we want to solve for b. So that means we're going to move this half over to the other side. So I'm just going to continue it over here, okay? So it's going to be 5 minus 1/2 equals b. And now we need to make sure that we have it in the same term. So because this right here has a base of 2, okay, we can rewrite this so that it has a base of 2. So we can rewrite 5 as 10 divided by 2, because, just a reminder, 10 divided by 2 gives us 5. So it means the exact same thing, but we're just writing it so that they had the same base. So it's 10 divided by 2 minus 1 divided by 2, which is 1/2, equals b. And then now, because we have the same base, we can subtract them. So 10 minus 1 is 9, and leave it over 2, and that equals your b. So we know that our y-intercept is 9 over 2. So therefore, our last and final step, it says write the equation of a line in its proper form. So that's the y equals mx plus b. So y equals mx plus b. So our proper form is y equals, we know our slope is 1/2. So we're going to have 1/2 x. And then our y-intercept, our plus b, is 9 over 2. So plus 9 over 2. And this is your final answer. Next one. Find the equation of a line with a slope of 3 that passes through the origin. Okay, so this one, when they say origin, that actually is when x and y are both 0. So that's, if you have a graph, this is the origin. Okay, so that is our point here. And it says slope of -3. So m is -3 over 1. That's our slope. And then our x, y point on this one is 0 and 0. Remember, x is first and then y. So using our formula, y equals mx plus b. I'm going to put my slope in for my m. Okay, so that's going to be -3 over 1. My y-coordinate is 0. My x-coordinate is 0. And then I have plus b. Okay, so 0 equals, well, -3 over 1 times 0 is 0, plus b. And then we want to move this 0 over to this side to solve for b. 0 minus 0 equals b. So b equals 0. Okay, so that's our y-intercept. So if we do our formula, so y equals mx plus b, written in proper form. Okay, so y equals, our slope is the -3x, and you can put a 1 underneath if you want. And then our y-intercept is 0. So there's your final answer. Next one, finding the equation of a line, given the equation of a line and a point, or given the equations of 2 lines. Okay, so our first example, the first thing you want to do is determine what information the question provides. Then you are going to substitute the slope and the point into y equals mx plus b to find the y-intercept. And then part 3 is you're going to write the equation of a line in its proper form. Okay, so the first one says determine the equation of a line that is parallel to 2/3 x plus 4 and passes through a point 4 and 5. Okay, so it said parallel. So when we are finding a line that's parallel, that means it has to have the same slope. Okay, so we know that our slope is 2 over 3. Okay, and they also gave us a point 4 and 5. So my xy coordinate point is 4 and -5. So we put it into the form y equals mx plus b so that we can solve. So my y coordinate, remember, y is first and then x, so y is -5, so -5 equals, my slope is 2/3, and my x is 4, so times 4, and then plus b. Okay, so we can put a 1 underneath this 4, okay, because it just means 4 divided by 1. So I'm going to keep my -5 out in front, but now we'll multiply the numerators. So 4 times 2 is 8. 3 times 1 is 3. And then we still have our plus b. Okay. Now we're going to move this over to the other side because we want to solve for b. So it's going to be -5 minus 8/3 equals b. Okay, and now we want to make sure that we have the same base. Okay, so because there's a 1 over here, we can multiply this whole fraction by 3. So just making it 3 times bigger on the top and the bottom so that we can simplify. So 3 times -5 gives me -15. 3 times 1 is 3. Okay, so we just rewrote that. And then we have -8/3 equals b. Now our last and final step is to simplify. Now that we have the same base, we can subtract. So -15, take away another 8, gives me -23 over our base 3. And that is what b equals. So your last and final step, I'll just do it up here because we have a little, actually I'll move it over a little bit more room up here. So therefore, we want to put it in y equals mx plus b, the proper form. So that's when you fill in your slope and y-intercept. So slope, like we said before, was 2/3. So 2/3 x. And then our y-intercept is -23/3. And there is your final answer. Next one, determine the equation of a line that is perpendicular to 2x plus 5y minus 1 and has the same y-intercept as this one. Okay, so we got a couple things going on here. So they're giving us 2 different lines. Here is one line, and then here is the second line. So the first line, they want it perpendicular. So that means you're going to have the slope that is the reciprocal and the negative of it. Okay, so first things first. Perpendicular to this. So I'm going to write it here. 2x plus 5y equals 1. So we have to put it in y equals mx plus b. So 5 equals, we're going to bring this 2x over and it becomes a -2x and then plus 1. Now we have to solve for for y, so we have to divide by 5 all around. Okay? 5 divided by 5 is just 1y. Then we have -2/5 x plus 1/5. So our slope here is -2/5. We want the perpendicular slope. So it's going to be the reverse. So instead of 2/5, it's 5/2. And then we change it from negative to a positive. So it's a positive 5/2. Now the second part of this says that this question has the same y-intercept as this equation right here. So y equals 7x minus 1. So the y-intercept here happens at -1. So the point x is 0 and y is -1. So we're going to use this point now to make our new equation of a line. So y equals mx plus b. We have our x and y coordinates, so y is -1. Our slope is 5/2. And our x is 0. So let's find our new y-intercept. So -1 equals anything times 0 is 0 plus b. So we are left with -1 equals b. So our last and final step is y equals mx plus b, just writing it in proper form. So we know y equals, our slope is 5/2. X, and our y-intercept is -1. The end.